On the cutting edge of anomaly research, you are about to experience The Evidence with your host, 3D pioneer and image analyst with Mars X3D, E.W. Gannett.
Well, hi there, all you splendid weirdos. This is your buddy Dave over at Mars X3D. If you're new to this channel, you need to learn X3D. Look at the links down below in the description. Most people can learn in a couple minutes, and we even have 6-year-olds, the youngest member of our Cross-Eyed Explorers group, who has no problem whatsoever. Are you going to let a kid beat you out on this? Actually, there's no competition. It's so easy to learn. You're viewing in 3D all the time. When you wake up, all day long, and then when you go to sleep. So X3D is just a slightly different way of focusing your eyes. Very easy to learn, and like I say, when you get it, you get it. Okay, so with all our weirdos joining us here, step on into the lodge, and you know we leave the outside world behind in this place, and we go to the really outside world, namely Mars and other places in the solar system. And I have kind of an interesting announcement to make. One of our researchers, Don Banker, has discovered a way to create X3D from Neville Thompson's wonderful collection of razor-sharp gigamacros. And so, my intention is to put together a tutorial for those of you who are interested in creating your own X3D renditions of Martian anomalies. It's a lot of fun, and you won't need all the technical experience that I have needed in the past in order to accomplish this. So look for that upcoming in the next week or two, a couple of weeks at least. And also, if you're not already familiar with MarsFam.net, it's a new forum put together by Jimmy Roberts, the real Jimmy Roberts 1. And it features himself, myself, Chris Maroney, and Neil Spence. And we like to say this is a place where the adults can have a conversation. Absent all the wild claims, all the miniature Martians, all the dragons, all the stuff that people want to go on and on about. And we take a good solid look at the evidence and discuss it, and you make up your own mind. That being the case, get ready to make up your own mind about this week's group of anomalies. Take a look at this context view. It's close up and really not much to see here except for, sand and rocks, but there's something tucked away inside the green target that'd be easy to miss if you don't take the time to dig down into these images. Look at that neat little mechanical piece peeking out from behind the rock. Now there's no way that's any kind of a mineral, especially with that even shape and the rectangular cross piece and that little bolt or knob on the right side. If I was there, I'd slip this into my pocket before anyone else saw it and give it a real going over with a magnifying glass back at the environmental pod. We've found other small mechanical parts too, like this mechanism in a crack that even has the same basic shape as the one we just looked at. Or how about this neat little metal curlicue? Or this metal part tucked under a rock? Or these stainless steel self-locking floating high-temperature nut plates found by my friend Jimmy Roberts? The point is, these aren't simply one-off anomalies, but we find similar items everywhere we look, which I believe tells a story about a technologically advanced civilization that came to an abrupt end. These images coming down from Percy are just loaded with anomalous items, most of them so obvious that people pile all over them, claiming first rights, as if that mattered at all. My friend Terry Burnett is usually the first to present whatever he finds, and this one is easy to see, smack in the center of this context view. While this is probably just a bizarre rock formation, that piece draped over the back half, that sure looks like a piece of canvas, doesn't it? And look at the left front side. Is it possible those are symbols so neatly carved in a line? And look at the left rear corner. That little circular item has a distinctly mechanical look to it. But of course, since we all know that's impossible, we'll just chalk it up to wind and sand and move on. And actually, things that look like cloth have been found before, like this item I call a party tent from the early days of Spirit. Just behind Terry's pig in a blanket, we have some cut stones that I wanted to point out for you. That trapezoidal block right in front is a real dandy, isn't it? That cut through the top center makes me wonder if this is a modular block, with the block going on top having a ridge on its underside that locks into this cut for stability. I can't help wondering that if we turned this block over, would we find a corresponding locking ridge on the underside? What I really like about this, though, are those three neat rectangles cut into the left side, all three neatly aligned at an angle, one above the other. Someone please explain to me how this happens naturally. Over here is what looks like a die, one half of a pair of dice. It's cube-shaped, it's got two holes on either side and a knob between those two holes. They must shoot craps a little differently on Mars. And don't forget this stuff in the background, another L-shaped piece and a dished-out item right in front of it. If you've ever thought about becoming an anomaly hunter, now's the time, because just about every image Percy sends back is loaded with them. My buddy Laszlo is always staying busy, this time with a context view from one of Keith Laney's gigabands. This one has anomalies everywhere you look, a true debris field, but we're going to focus on the yellow target for the moment. Before I start pointing things out, let your eyes play over this image for a little bit. Just about everything you see here is anomalous, and this is just a small portion of the overall picture. Whatever that nicely right-angled piece right in there in front with the French curve on top, whatever that happens to be, it's clearly not a natural item. But look behind it and to the left, and you'll see what Laszlo pointed out. It really does look like a serving spoon, doesn't it? And follow these arrows to more strangeness. The one on the left is pointing at what might be metal channeling or bent pipes. The arrow in the middle is pointing at what might be a worked piece of metal. Notice the perfect hole on the left end, and the arrow on the right points out what may be carving of some kind. It seems all of these are part of the same piece, going all the way down to Laszlo's serving spoon. By the way, I was having a senior moment when I did the compositing on this one, and I forgot to put the saw number in. So this is Curiosity Saw 1419. And finally, if your screen is big enough, you can see that the piece in front has parallel lines of 5 evenly spaced drilled holes, and that wedge in back of it, the same thing, parallel lines of 4 or 5 evenly spaced holes. But that's just random chance, so there's no need to pay any attention whatsoever to any of these things. Look at that Martian landscape stretching away into the distance, along with that beautiful blue sky. This is another one pointed out by Terry Burnett, that tiny piece way off along the first ridge. So, let's do an inventory on this one. Basically, the overall shape looks like a tank with square sides, a rounded top, an oval front, and an assortment of small items protruding from the surface. What I like are those 2 rings sticking out towards us in the front. Is that plumbing, or possibly handles to drag this thing around? Terry called this one a casket, but I can't help thinking this is a holding tank of some kind for maybe transporting water or oxygen. Who knows? Here we are in another part of the GMAC, looking at something pointed out by Girl Martian. It beats me why people don't just use their names and then extract the things they find and present them somewhere. But I guess for most people, just finding something and marking it is enough. Let's get closer. This is maybe 4 or 5 feet long. Hard to tell with no ironclad metrics available in the analyst's notebook, at least for mast cam images. Looks like a cannon to my eyes, and we found other things like that before. I'm sure you remember this image from one of last year's episodes where we have 2 they look like old-timey pirate cannons sticking out of the rocks. Or what I call a scepter from Spirit's shot of Husband Hill. And we're not even going to get into defensive rockets ready to launch. Well, that's a wrap for this week. Thanks for stopping by, and by now, you're aware of our Patreon and PayPal links to help keep this channel ad-free. My sincere gratitude goes out to all our patrons and our contributors. Thank you for your generous support. Meanwhile, if you saw something you liked, please consider giving this video a thumbs up. It helps me to know whether to continue this work. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button and click the bell. Our next live hang is this coming Tuesday, May 11th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And I look forward to welcoming you into our gathering of exceptional weirdos at that time. Until then, this is your buddy Dave over at Mars X3D. Be well.